Hey everybody, this is Jeff Hanna from the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, and you're listening to Radio Random Network.
Thanks for hitting the play button and joining me live for Backstage with hashtag RDM. I am your host, Russell Devin McLain. It's Tuesday, May 17th, and I got a great show lined up for you tonight, as I do every week. This week on the show, I'll be talking with Jeff Hanna, founding member of the legendary group, the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. They're celebrating 50 years of music with a tour and a PBS Special, so I'll be talking with Jeff about that and more. 50 years of music, I'm pretty sure I'll find something of interest to talk to him about. I'll also be talking about some trending stories from the entertainment world, and I'll review some music from an up-and-coming indie recording artist. And also, did your favorite show get canceled? I'll talk about what shows stayed and what shows had to go. So let's not waste no more time. It's time for Backstage with hashtag RDM right here on the Radio Random Network.
Feel the power. You're Backstage with hashtag RDM on Radio Random Network. Now, here's the host, hashtag RDM, Russell Devin McLain.
Oh, man, what a week. I hope you're having a good week. I am hashtag RDM, Russell Devin McLain, and you are listening to Backstage with hashtag RDM live here on Spreaker and iHeartRadio and at our website, www.radiorandomnetwork.com. By the way, guys, I just want to remind you that all the links talked about on today's show can be found at radiorandomnetwork.com or in the show notes and description for this week's episode. Got a lot going on in the music world today. As I mentioned earlier, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band celebrating 50 years of music with a tour and a PBS special. We're going to be talking to Mr. Jeff Hanna about that here shortly. But before we get into all that, guys, let's talk about some trending topics that's going around in the music world for the week of May 17th, 2016. I'll tell you what, you need to set your DVRs because you don't want to miss this one. Hank Williams Jr. is to appear on NBC's Today Show tomorrow, Wednesday, May 18th. He's going to be talking about his newest single, The Party Zone, which is now on country radio. And he will light up the morning television when he appears on the Today Show with his daughter, Holly Williams, to talk about their family tradition in the music business. Hank Jr. recently released his 37th studio album, It's About Time. He's going to sit down with his daughter Holly for a sit-down interview and impromptu acoustic performance for Jenna's Family Business Series. That ought to be pretty interesting. Old Rowdy Randall himself, he was recently announced that he'll be playing the CMA Fest this June and co-headlining a special limited summer tour with Chris Stapleton, who is hot right now. From what I understand, it's only 8 cities, and dates are lined up in Houston, Austin, West Palm Beach, Detroit. Rumor has it that all the shows have been sold out, so good luck getting tickets for that one. But don't forget to tune in tomorrow to the Today Show. Hank Williams Jr. and his daughter Holly going to be on NBC's Today Show. So that ought to be pretty interesting. Something you don't want to miss. Be sure and check out your local listings to find out what channel the Today Show comes on. Also, I want to send a big shout out to my friend Mr. Steve Warner. He's celebrating 20 years as a Grand Ole Opry member. Country music legend was honored during the Opry performance this past Saturday night, May 14th. 4-time Grammy and CMA winner, celebrated his 20th anniversary as a member of the Grand Ole Opry. Pete Fisher, Grand Ole Opry vice president and general manager, presented Warner with a special plaque during the singer-songwriter's performance. And Country Music Hall of Famer Bill Anderson, who inducted Warner into the Grand Ole Opry 20 years ago, was also on hand to pay tribute to his longtime friend. So shout out to Mr. Steve Warner. Speaking of the Grand Ole Opry, our friends Shenandoah returned to the Grand Ole Opry stage after nearly 25 years. A couple of weekends ago, for the first time in nearly 25 years, the legendary country group Shenandoah returned to the stage of the Grand Ole Opry. The band was fronted by Marty Rayburn, who recently rejoined the group after a 17-year absence. The legendary country group performed on Friday and Saturday night, performing a lot of their great hits such as Church on Cumberland Road, 2 Dozen Roses, and I Want to Be Loved Like That. The group's return to the Opry stage is the latest highlight of what has been a very busy year for the boys from Alabama. The band recently performed at the Academy of Country Music's All-Star Jam in Las Vegas and also just released their first country gospel album, Good News Travels Fast. They're also on a tour. Over 70 live dates are lined up, probably coming to a city near you. Be sure and check out ShenandoahBand.com for more information about their tour. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks we can pin down Mr. Marty Rayburn and get on here with us and talk to us about that brand new album. Marty's been a guest on the show many times. And you can go back through the archives at RadioRandomNetwork.com and find Marty Rayburn interviews. And he talks about, a matter of fact, I had an interview with him live right when he rejoined the band a couple of years ago. So that's always great to talk to Marty. We'll have him on the show here not too long from now. All right, gang, as I said earlier, I'm going to be talking with founding member of the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, Mr. Jeff Hanna. He's going to be on with us tonight. But before we get to that, the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band made their first public appearance 50 years ago, May 13th, 1966. And now they're marking that milestone with more airings of their star-studded televised PBS Pledge Special. I'll share the links at RadioRandomNetwork.com and in today's show notes for when the PBS Pledge Special starts in your market. You can also look here, if you're live with us, I'll put it in the chat room as well. But the PBS Pledge Special was made possible with the support from the Tennessee Department of Tourism and has reinvigorated the iconic group's legion of fans. The show features guest artists including John Prime, Sam Bush, Vince Gill, Jerry Jeff Walker, Alison Krauss, Rod Corral, Byron House, and Jerry Douglas, as well as former members of the band, longtime member for decades, Mr. Jimmy Obbitson, and Rock and Roll Hall of Famer and early Nitty Gritty Dirt Band member Jackson Brown. They'll also be accompanied by a CD and a DVD that includes extra song and performances, as well as concert tickets and meet and greets in select markets available exclusively through PBS member stations. They're also on tour for their golden 50th anniversary. They plan to run the end of 2017 with many additional dates to be announced. So with all of that said, guys, let's not waste any more time. Here's my interview with the one and only Jeff Hanna of the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. All right, joining me today here on the Radio Random Network, I got a very special guest. They're celebrating their 50th anniversary of making music. One of the founding members of the legendary group, the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. I'm talking to the one and only Mr. Jeff Hanna. How you doing, Mr. Jeff?
I'm good, Russell. How you doing, bud?
We're doing awesome down here. How's your day going so far, friend?
Really great. Actually, I have a day off on the road, so just doing a little chatting, picking up my mandolin a little bit, and hanging out in my hotel room so far.
That's awesome. I know you guys, y'all staying on the road. You're pretty much kind of in the middle. Well, you're going to be going to 2017 with your tour, where you guys are celebrating the 50th anniversary. This is our 50th anniversary. So, this is our first, we're in the middle of a 2-week tour right now. It's our first sort of real extended run that we've done this year. And we're having a great time. We're in the Northeast right now in Pennsylvania, but we've been in New Hampshire and Massachusetts and Maine so far. So we're having in Connecticut as well. So we're having a ball, man. It's great. People have been really, really great, and very, very happy to celebrate this 50 years with us, and we're happy about that. It's great. That's awesome. Now, with that said, 50 years of making music. That first and foremost, that's a hell of a milestone. But with
my
that,
my fingers are tired.
With that said, does it surprise you that the music that you guys made when you first started still has an effect on the younger country music generation?
Well, yeah. And I think we're really humbled by that, because we're all music fans as well, and to have any impact on the folks that have come after us, that's how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to pass it on down, and it's great that people, have been influenced in some way, shape, or form by what we played.
That's awesome. Now, Jeff, real quick, we're going to rewind a little bit. I'm not going to keep you long, but I'd like to know personally, was music something that was a part of your household as you was growing up as a child?
Well, interestingly enough, my older brother, Mike, he turned me on to folk music. I mean, he would bring home records of people like the Kingston Trio or Peter, Paul, and Mary, Harry Belafonte. But also he was a rock and roll fan, and this is in the late 50s and early 60s. So I was hearing stuff like the Everly Brothers and Chuck Berry and those records, from my brother. My folks listened to, they had great taste in music, but it was like more towards like the Frank Sinatra, Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday, Louis Armstrong, that stuff, which oddly enough is a lot of the music that I listen to myself at home now. I love that stuff, and it reminds me of my folks as well. So, yeah. But we didn't have any musicians in my house. My parents both sang really well, but neither of them played a musical instrument. I got that bug from some friends of mine, some guys that I met in junior high school and high school, respectively. It's like, we need to get you a guitar, so.
Right. That's pretty awesome. Now, you guys also did last year. Y'all did a special for PBS, and y'all invited some friends to come out and jam with you. And give us a little. What was the inspiration behind doing the special for PBS?
Well, we taped it back in September, but essentially it was for airing this year to coincide with the 50th anniversary. At the Ryman Auditorium in Nashville, essentially we called up a bunch of friends of ours that had a really huge musical impact and personal impact on us as well over our 50 years of doing this. Folks like John Prine and Jerry Jeff Walker and Rodney Crowell, Vince Gill and Alison Krauss and Jackson Brown and Jimmy Ibbotson, both of whom played in our band for various periods of time.
Right.
And of course Jerry Douglas and Sam Bush, who are master musicians, and we recorded a bunch of those guys. Byron House on bass as well. So it was just a great opportunity to throw a party with an audience. Usually this is the kind of thing that happens in your living room, The great thing for us was the cameras were rolling, and we were just grinning from ear to ear that night. It was so much fun. There were a lot of folks like John Prine and Jerry Jeff that we hadn't seen in several years. So it was really, really cool. As a band, certainly. I mean, I ran into John because we live in the same town, but I hadn't seen Jerry Jeff in 25, probably almost 30 years. So that was a great kind of a homecoming for all of us. That was the concept, was to get out there and play some of the tunes that we had recorded over the years, or maybe we hadn't gotten around to recording, but we'd sit around and jam on them. So that night at the Ryman, it was really, really special.
That's awesome.
And PBS did a great job of putting the whole thing together, and it all supports public television as well. So
yes, indeed,
it's a win-win situation. Everybody on the show were all huge supporters of PBS.
Yes, indeed. Now, a lot of people, a lot of bands, they get together, and sometimes they, you could take like CCR, for instance. They had a lot of hits, but they wasn't together too long. Now, you guys have been together 50 years. What's the secret?
Well, shoot. I mean, I think the first thing is that we all enjoy playing music together, and we've gone down different roads in terms of musical style, essentially with the sort of country rock roots music version of that in the center of what we do from the very get-go. But I think that the thing that's really that kept us on the road has been the fans. I mean, we've got a great fan base, and our Dirt Band fans are so loyal, man. We call them Dirt Heads, and they're so great, and they've been showing up for 50 years. They've been bringing their kids, and their kids have been bringing their kids. So I mean, it's a family reunion when we go out and play. We just have a blast.
Most definitely. Well, with that said, with the fans out there, the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, I'm wondering myself, is there any new material in the making?
Well, we got things kind of bubbling. Right now we're pretty busy, going out there, going deep in the songbook, because we've got so many tunes that people want to hear from over the history of what we've done. But, we have every intention of getting back in the studio. I don't know if we'll do it till later this year, but, that'd be fun.
Most definitely. And real quick before I let you go today, Mr. Jeff, I'd like to know, is there any advice that you could share with any up-and-coming singer-songwriters or musicians that may want to follow in the footsteps of yourself or the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band?
Well, the first thing is that don't do it for the money. Chances are you'll be disappointed if you really love what you're doing. But the other thing is I'm kind of echoing some advice that I read years ago, is that you start off emulating your heroes, but then your version of that is going to be a unique sound, and that's you got to bring something different, and just sort of trust your own instincts. And you can't go wrong there. And write as much music as you can.
Yes, indeed.
That the singer-songwriter, you hit it on the head right there. If you can come up with something original, that's always going to be more satisfying in the long run.
Most definitely. Well, for more information about the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, you can go to nittygritty.com. You can also connect with them on social media, such as Twitter and Facebook, to keep up with their latest updates and all of their tour dates and all that good stuff. Mr. Jeff, it's been a pleasure and an honor to sit here and talk with you, my friend.
Good talking to you too, man.
What a great time that was, sitting here talking with the one and only Jeff Hanna of the legendary group, the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. For more information about the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, visit www.nittygrittydirtband.com. You can keep up with all the latest news, updates, tour dates, connect with them on social media, and all kind of other fun stuff at their website. By the way, I want to send a shout out to my friend, Mr. Scott, for setting up that interview for us here tonight for Backstage with #RDM. With all that said, I asked you earlier, did your favorite show get canceled? Mine did. There was a lot of surprises, a lot of shows that I wouldn't even expect it would have ended. I can say that there are certain shows that I have watched before that are favorites of other people that has been renewed, such as on ABC. You get Once Upon a Time just ahead of its highly anticipated 100th episode. That's one of those fantasy series. You got Scandal, Grey's Anatomy. They're coming back for season 13. How I Got Away with Murder, Modern Family, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Shark Tank. I really like that one. It's back. The Real O'Neills, American Crime. And then we switch over to NBC. Law and Order, Special Victims Unit. The long-running crime series has been granted an 18th series. Chicago Med, I've never seen that before. Shades of Blue, Jennifer Lopez's cop drama, is coming back for season 2. TV must be really loving her these days. You looking at CBS, you got The Big Bang Theory, one of my favorites, NCIS, Hawaii Five-0, and many, many others. On Netflix, which is a streaming service, Orange is the New Black, the prison comedy, has been renewed for another 3 seasons. So you got that to look forward to. You got Fox with Sleepy Hollow, Empire. So Cookie will be back to bring the drama to the 3rd season. And Gotham, the Batman prequel, has been granted a 3rd season, which is one of my favorites. The bad news, the very bad news. What's been canceled? ABC cancels Nashville. The drama is over after 4 seasons. People are outraged. I've seen a lot of things out there, such as the reasons the shows were canceled, which was allegedly the lady that played Juliet was took too much time off, and she was one of the main stars. I heard that the cast wanted to move the series because Tennessee did not support gay rights, so they wanted to move the series from the state of Tennessee, which was crazy, I think, but whatever, to each their own. Mike and Molly, which I kind of expected that, they're gone. That's from CBS. But, looking around on here and seeing the shows that are going, it's crazy. Beauty and the Beast, which I thought was pretty good. The 4th season's going to be its last. Royal Pains, which I never got into, but, a lot of surprises. Now, for the Nashville fans out there, I understand that they are shopping the show around to different networks. Hopefully it'll be picked up. I think the viewership was there. I really don't understand what happened with the Nashville thing or why they done it. I'm going to have to do some more digging on that. But did your favorite show cancel? Let us know here on Backstage with #RDM by going to RadioRandomNetwork.com and leaving us a 60-second voicemail. You'll see the little tab on the side of the screen. Tell us what your favorite show was and what you think about it being canceled. That's all you have to do. We'll play it on the show if it's of quality, if it's clean. We'll play it here on the show next week. I don't want you to forget that you can listen to past episodes of Backstage with #RDM, the Russell and Mud Soup Show, and a lot of other interviews that's been conducted over the last few years by simply going to the official website at www.radiorandomnetwork.com. While you're there, go ahead and sign up for the RadioRandomNetwork.com official newsletter. You'll never miss an episode of the show. We can send you updates on guests and some insider information on what's happening here at the Radio Random Network. If you would like, every week we will send you stories, news, and headlines from the entertainment world. We could share with you and bring it straight to your inbox. Just simply sign up. But the cool part is when you sign up for the Radio Random Network newsletter, you're automatically entered in our monthly giveaway and contest. So you don't have to re-enter. You don't have to go and fill out a silly survey or re-up or anything like that. Once you enter, you're entered, and we give away CDs and all that good stuff here, books. I think, not sure this month what we're giving away just yet, but we need to figure something out real soon because it's vastly approaching the end of the month that is. I mean, hell, we're already in the middle of it. And with all of that said, guys, if you would like to support Backstage with #RDM on the Radio Random Network, is real simple. You can support us at Patreon by simply visiting patreon.com/RRN. We'll share that link in the show notes. You can just go to RadioRandomNetwork.com, click on the support tab. All your support is very appreciated, monetarily or by rating and reviewing on iTunes or Google Play, Stitcher Radio, following us on Spreaker. They're coming slowly but surely as we update our network and our feeds and everything, but I want to let you know that next week, it's going to be a kind of a different show in a way. I'm going to be talking to a young lady with a very, very inspiring and interesting story. Her name is Erica Chase. She's been featured at Huffington Post and iHeartRadio. As a matter of fact, Huffington Post, did an article on her and basically said, although the world may not know who Erica Chase is yet, it is just a matter of time before they do. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Erica Chase. She's a guitar and piano player, and she's taken her pop country vibe into the studio with Dana Strum of Slaughter and Vince Neil Solo Band. Erica's new video single is titled Paris, and it's directed by Chris Hickey, a guy that's directed videos from Keith Urban and Carrie Underwood. Now, I'll share the link for you to watch, but here's the thing that really got me. She comes from the hard rock world. She's more of a pop rock, and we'll get the story behind Paris, her new single. The bullying, how she handled growing up being bullied for having a uniquely low singing voice. I'm also gonna ask her some hard questions. I'd like to know, at a time when she had come into the music world, or the music industry, it was declining and the charts was dominated by dance music. Where did she fit in? What does that leave artists like herself? And what's her solution? That's what I want to know. Because, it's a tough world out there. But this young lady has an inspiring story. A near-death experience. She met Dana Strum of Slaughter and Vince Neil's Solo Band, and the next day she was struck by a truck while riding her bike, and she nearly died. But rather than walk into a white light, how did the collision of these two events change her life and lead her path to music? All within a 24-hour period. We're going to get the whole story next week when I'm joined by Miss Erica Chase. You want to tune in for that one. Once again, I want to thank you so much for hanging with me here tonight for Backstage with #RDM Live here on Spreaker and iHeartRadio and at RadioRandomNetwork.com. For more information, RadioRandomNetwork.com. Don't forget to rate, review the show on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. Follow us on Spreaker if you're there. You can follow us also on iHeartRadio. Just go to RadioRandomNetwork.com. Get all the information. You'll find all the information there that you need. With that said, don't forget next week, Miss Erica Chase right here on the Radio Random Network. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. and I hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. I'm Russell Devin McLain, and you've been listening to Backstage with hashtag RDM. We'll talk at you next week.
Tune in every Tuesday at 7:05 p.m. Central Standard Time for a show created for musicians and music lovers alike, Backstage with hashtag RDM. For more information about the hosts, guests, or our other weekly programs, visit RadioRandomNetwork.com. Join us next week for another entertaining episode. Thanks for listening.
Same time, same place, next week.